Georgia is being shaken again. There are ongoing attempts by the Anglo-Saxons to ignite a color revolution. Recently, there was an attempt to turn Tbilisi into a center of bloody chaos and violence. The country's authorities thwarted all attempts. The Georgian Maidan failed again. But the West continues to pour in money, so the paid activists have to earn their pay. That's why they took to the streets today.
Rebels took to the streets of Tbilisi after the government announced its intention to halt EU membership talks until at least 2028. Additionally, the authorities rejected European grants, which also played a significant role. Currently, there are reportedly about 30,000 various NGOs in the country, mainly funded by Washington and Brussels. Activists from these organizations became the main driving force of the new color revolution. They immediately escalated the situation. The new Georgian Maidan quickly showed many familiar traits to observers. The police were immediately provoked to use force. In line with the recommendations of color revolution ideologist Sharp, an attempt was made to occupy part of the city space. Barricades appeared on the streets of Tbilisi within minutes and were almost immediately set on fire. Nearby, militants with flags in hand danced around the burning piles of trash. They threw stones and bottles at the police. The escalation of violence was accompanied by attempts to sway law enforcement to their side. These attempts were unsuccessful. Police began using water cannons to fight the fires. The Maidan activists were relatively few in number. They failed to create an impression of a massive and fierce protest. To disperse the aggressive crowd, police used the same water cannons and tear gas. The crowd continued to attack law enforcement. According to the latest data, at least 32 law enforcement officers were injured in the attacks. Among the injured were media personnel, including journalists from Rash Today and RIA News. As a result of suppressing the rebellion, 43 participants in the riots were detained. The EU ambassador to Georgia called the events heartbreaking and promised worldwide support to Georgian color revolution activists. In turn, official Tbilisi issued a strong protest against Western interference in the country's internal affairs.
Amid the start of the war in Ukraine, when Georgia needed peace the most, some European politicians and bureaucrats used the candidate status issue as an attempt to organize a revolution in the country. Organizations funded by the European Union were openly involved in this revolutionary attempt. For nearly 2 years, the candidate status topic was used in Georgia as a tool of radicalism and societal polarization. This indicates an unhealthy attitude towards Georgia.
Today, 3 Tbilisi universities announced a strike. Students are almost being forced to join the barricades. Activists are gathering again near the government quarter of the Georgian capital. New clashes are almost inevitable given the crowd's agitation. Participants are being handed flags and other accessories. The new Georgian color revolution seems poorly prepared and clearly lacks mass support. Anything else would be strange, considering the values being imposed on the country's residents.
To Georgians, who were the coolest guys in the Soviet Union, they're imposing some LGBT agenda. Georgians won't accept this. They always looked at women.
It seems the authorities in Tbilisi are well prepared for attempts to destabilize the situation. The experience of past Maidans has taught the current Georgian leadership a lot. Oleg Romanov, First Information.